so much for joining us tonight, and thank you, candidates, for joining us tonight as well. My name is Laura Pizer. I'm with Boulder City Community Alliance. We set up this event tonight. We reached out to all candidates that had any jurisdiction over Boulder City. So either at the Boulder City level, like Justice of the Peace of the Assembly seats, up to the state level as well as the county level. So we reached out to everybody, regardless of affiliation of party, and we had a wonderful response. We have 22 candidates here to speak with us tonight. We will be filming tonight, and we'll be posting it tonight. We will be filming tonight, so as everybody is speaking, we will not be having any questions. We want to ask that the audience please remain quiet while everybody is giving their speeches. We will be posting this up onto our Facebook page and then sharing it out to all the other Facebook pages here in Boulder City. That way everybody who didn't have a chance to come in tonight can have a chance to see what all the candidates have to say. So let me go through my speech. It's been a little while since I talked in front of an audience. Let's see. So tonight we're going to be presenting all the candidates who have agreed to attend. We're going to be going through in really no particular order. There's no favoritism, and in any position that there's two candidates running, we're just going to be picking their names out of a hat of who's going to be speaking first, so we'll be doing that from the back over there. As we kind of flow, it's going to be, I'll be announcing who's going to be speaking next from back there. So just come up. Each candidate is going to have 4 minutes to speak. Can everybody hear me? Sorry. Each candidate is going to have 4 minutes to speak. We will be having a timekeeper here in the back, Charm. She has flags, and she's going to go over the rules in just a moment as soon as I'm done speaking. So when I call your name, just come up here to the podium, start your speaking right away, and we'll be starting the timing right away. We have so many people to speak tonight. We want to make sure that we have enough time for everybody else. At the conclude of everybody's speeches, then we're going to ask all the candidates to go to their tables. We've assigned tables here on the back, where all the audience can then go and have one-on-one interaction. At BCCA, we feel it's really important to get to know all the candidates on a personal level. We want to make sure that any questions that you have can be answered directly by the candidates or their representatives, and just to make sure that you can make a wise and a good vote when we come up in November. So again, please just make sure that the audience, no questions at this point, not till they go to their tables. They'll be here. We have this room all night. Glenn said we have it until he starts dragging. So if you see Glenn starting to fall asleep in the corner, that's the time that we need to leave. But we have plenty of time. Some of the candidates are not here just yet. They'll be joining us a little bit later in the evening. So I'm sure that they'll be nice and quiet when they come in to kind of set up their tables. And we will probably be getting more audience members coming in and out as the night progresses. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to first start with the judges. It's going to be between Mark Bayless and Alyssa Kaddish. So I'm sorry, I jumped right ahead. The most important part.
So it's okay. Good evening, everyone. We will be using the time system that we use in Toastmasters International. You have a 4-minute window to speak. 4-minute window. At 2 minutes, at 2 minutes, I'll give you a green flag. When you have 1 minute left, it's yellow. And when you have no time left, it's red. But you will have 30 seconds to complete your thoughts. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and choose the names out of a hat between Mark Bayless and Alyssa Kaddish. So head to the back.
Mark Bayless. Can you hear me? Mark Bayless will go first, please.
Good evening, everyone. I am Judge Mark Bayless. I am the District Court Judge for Department 18. And just so to be clear, Judge Kaddish is not running against me. She is actually a District Court Judge that is running for the Nevada Supreme Court. I am currently the District Court Judge for Department 18. I was appointed in April of 2017 by Governor Brian Sandoval to fill a vacancy on the bench. and I've been serving since May of 2017, and I'll be on the ballot in November to be retained as a district court judge. I am a longtime resident of Clark County. My family originally came here in 1955. I grew up here. I went to Valley High School. I graduated from UNLV. I went out of state to go to law school because at the time I went to law school, Nevada did not have a law school. I came back to Clark County to make it my home, and I practiced law ever since. I was an attorney for over 37 years before I got appointed by Governor Sandoval. And the governor appointed me based on my experience, knowledge, and qualifications to be a district court judge. And that's what I'm running on. I'm running on my experience, knowledge, and qualifications. As an attorney, much of my career was with Michael Cherry. We had a firm in the 90s called Cherry, Bayless, and Coleses. Then I've been an in-house counsel, a general counsel for Nevada Beverage Company in Hancock, Pontiac. And then at the latter part of my career, I had my own law firm called Bayless, Cook and Coleses, where I practiced both civil and criminal law. I have probably the most varied background of any district court judge on the bench. I basically have handled every type of case imaginable when I was an attorney. I've handled everything from capital murder cases to taking care of traffic tickets for clients. I've handled complex civil, multi-million-dollar litigation cases, as well as handling, representing clients in small claims court. Probably the case that you might know that I handled in the civil realm was the Pemcom explosion case. Michael Cherry and I were lead counsel for all the personal injury plaintiffs, except for one, and all the uninsured homeowners. And that case resolved itself by settlement. It was called a global settlement for $71 million. And I'm not saying that because I'm bragging in any way, but it was very satisfying that all my clients who had had personal injuries and property loss were able to be compensated. So as an attorney, that's what you strive for when you represent people, is to do a good job and make sure they're made whole. As a judge, I'm known as one of the hardest working judges. I read everything that is submitted to me. Many times I'll do my own research when people appear before me. I am a very patient judge. I'm a good listener. I let you make your best case, and then I make my decision by applying the law to the facts. As a judge, you want a judge to be fair and impartial, and that's what I always strive to do. And the thing that I take very seriously is when you come to court, you do not want to be an unpleasant experience. So I make sure everyone is civil to one another. I don't allow personal attacks or anything of that nature. So whether you win or lose, I want people to feel that they came before me and had a fair shot. And that's what I strive for as an attorney, and that's what I make sure of as a district court judge. Thank you so much.
All right, good evening. Thank you all for being here tonight. I am Melissa Kadish, and as mentioned, I'm a candidate for the Nevada Supreme Court Seat C. I am currently a district court judge here in Clark County. I've been a district court judge for the last 11 years now, presiding over civil and criminal cases. So let me first just tell you a little bit about my background and experiences. I grew up back east in New York and New Jersey. I went to college at the University of Pennsylvania, graduated with honors in political science there. I went on to law school at the University of Virginia. I graduated with honors from that school as well. I came out here right after law school in 1989 because I got a clerkship with a federal judge here, Judge Philip Pro, who's one of the finest judges we've ever had in this jurisdiction. I was really blessed to get that clerkship with him. I came out here for a 2-year clerkship in 1989 and never left. I raised my family here and pursued my law career here. I was in private practice for about 16 years after my clerkship before I got appointed in 2007 to the district court bench where I sit now. So that's a little bit about my background. And hearing the civil and criminal cases that I have for the last 11 years, I've had a wide variety of cases, all kinds of civil cases from personal injury to medical malpractice to mortgage foreclosure, all kinds of other issues. And on the criminal side, I've been presiding over felony criminal cases, the most serious cases we have, although that also is a wide variety from drug cases up to capital murder cases. And I've actually presided over 4 capital murder trials as a district court judge. So I have a wide range of experience both in civil and criminal work. So when I go around and I talk to people about running for the Supreme Court, and when I ask people what do they want to see in their judiciary, they want to see people who are courteous and professional to the people in their courtroom. They want a judge who works hard, reads everything, and prepares, and who rules fairly and consistently based on the facts and the law, not based on any other considerations, not based on people's ethnicity, not based on their race, not based on what political side of the fence they're on, and not based on how much money is in their bank account. And that's exactly what I do and have done for the last 11 years. That's why I've consistently been one of the highest rated district court judges in the Review Journal Judging the Judges poll. That's why I'm the 2016 winner of the Clark County Law Foundation Liberty Bell Award. That's why I'm endorsed by the statewide law enforcement coalition, which covers not only Metro Police, but police organizations throughout the state of Nevada. I'm very proud to have that endorsement, as well as the firefighters, Seniors United, the Veterans Association, and multiple other organizations. Thank you very much for your time and interest in my judicial race. My website is Judge Kadish for Justice. That's the number 4 in the website, judgekadishforjustice.com. I do have some materials out here, as well as yard signs and t-shirts. Be happy to share those with you or answer any questions that you may have. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you. Next, we will have County Assessor Brianna Johnson.
Everyone, thank you all for being here tonight. My name is Brianna Johnson, and I am a candidate for County Assessor. There we go. Again, Brianna Johnson for County Assessor. I'll give you a background about me. I am a Las Vegas native, graduated from Valley High School, like Mr. Bayless. Also from UNLV with a bachelor's degree in business administration. I have worked in the assessor's office for 23 years. I started as a temporary employee, worked my way up through the ranks to manager of property appraisal, and was then promoted to assistant county assessor. The current assessor is retiring, and she thought enough of me to ask me to run, and I said absolutely I would. Because this role is so important, and for those of you that don't know what the assessor does, the assessor is responsible for valuing all property in Clark County for tax purposes. And we also oversee all of the exemptions for veterans, disabled veterans, surviving spouses, and the blind. So that's what the assessor is tasked to do. I am the only candidate that has the experience and knowledge in the office. And currently, as the assistant county assessor, it would be a smooth transition to that position as county assessor to continue to offer you, the public, the great customer service that we currently offer, and to continue to value properties fairly and equitably amongst the county. And again, Brianna Johnson for County Assessor, and I thank you for your vote in advance at the general election. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we will have the resident. Governor Steve Black, the representative.
Hi everyone, my name is Kevin. I'm from the Sisolak campaign. Steve unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, but I do want to thank you all for coming out and participating in our political process during such an important election cycle. Just a little bit about Steve, if you're not familiar with him. He's chairman of the Clark County Commission. He's called Nevada home for over 40 years. He's raised 2 daughters as a single dad here. He got his MBA from UNLV, and he also started a small business here before entering public service, and then where he was a regent for the University of Nevada for 10 years, and then ran for Clark County Commission. The issues that are important to Steve are issues I think are important to all of us. Ensuring that our kids get a good education, ensuring once they leave school they can get a good job with good benefits, and if they get sick or they need something else, they can get affordable health care. With education, Steve has pledged not to take a salary until he can give teachers a raise, so that we can afford to get the best teachers for our kids in our communities. Unfortunately, if you're a teacher and you're starting out at $30,000 a year, it's pretty tough to get by. And in addition, he wants to really reinforce and bring back technical training into our public schools. Classes like woodshop and auto mechanics, things that, once you graduate, you can go into an apprenticeship and get a good job, become a journeyman and or journeywoman, and get a job that pays $60,000, $70,000 a year with good benefits and retirement benefits, health care, things like that. And on top of that, he would also want to ensure that we have good health care in our state. I can tell you from personal experience, good health care is great, but it doesn't help you much if you can't afford it. So what he wants to do is protect the Medicaid expansion that was signed under Governor Sandoval, protect the Affordable Care Act from outside forces that are trying to dismantle it, and make sure that we don't have things like, Steve likes to, or encountered a family up north that it was an older married couple who were in their 80s or 90s. He was really taken with their experience that they both had blood pressure medication, for example, and they couldn't afford 2 prescriptions. So the husband wants the wife to take the pill, the wife wants the husband to take the pill, and so what they wind up doing instead is splitting the pill in half, which I think you should all agree is not acceptable in our state or in our nation, frankly. So if those are issues that are important to you, good public education for our kids, good paying jobs with benefits and health care, and affordable health care for everyone, then we hope that you'll support Steve on November 6th. Thanks very much.
Hello. Next we will have for state treasurer between Bob Bears and Zach Klein. We'll have Zach go first, please.
Hey everybody, I'm not Zach. My name is Matthew DeFalco. I'm the political and field director for Zach Conine. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it here tonight. But I just wanted to be here and let you know that Zach is going to work really hard for your vote, and he'll be a fantastic treasurer. Zach started as a manager at a restaurant several years ago and ended up working his way up to being general manager. And today he runs more than 14 restaurants. He's created an enormous amount of jobs here in Southern Nevada. He's a responsible person. He's got a big family. He's going to do a great job as a treasurer. So thanks for having me. If you have any questions about Zach, feel free to come over and I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Well, good evening. My name is Bob Beers, and I've been working in the treasury function of various government and business organizations for about 30 years. Therefore, I'm running for treasurer as well. In the primary election, I want you to know, our campaign was voted the best bumper sticker. I don't know if you can read that back in the back. We like beers, vote responsibly. I grew up here in Las Vegas. Parents moved here when I was 11. Went to Clark High School, got a business degree from UNLV. I've been a certified public accountant for about 30 years. Briefly got some reciprocity in Iowa because that's where my wife's parents are from. And there was one summer vacation where I thought I might have to work. through. The treasurer's duty, by the way, is primarily to make sure that the state doesn't bounce checks. You don't think about it often, but state governments have to worry about not bouncing checks too. We have about 3 months worth of our operating money that we invest in short-term stuff, and we have quite a bit of debt that we have to worry about making all the payments on time. Then we have tax revenue in, and mostly payroll out. And all that has to be juggled. That's what the treasurer primarily does. It's what I've done most of my life. It's why I'm here today asking for your vote, so I can do it for you. The website's beersfornevada.org. The literature over there has my cell number on it, and I take my own calls, so please give me a call if you have any questions. Thanks for your attention.
Next, we'll have the states for Senate between Jackie Rosen and Craig Jordahl that are here. The rep for Jackie Rosen going first, please.
Hi everyone, good evening. My name is Erika Herrera, and I am the Southern Nevada Political Director for Jackie Rosen for U.S. Senate. Unfortunately, the Congresswoman cannot be here today. She is back in D.C. Working, but I'm here to say a few words on her behalf and, make sure that voters here today, if you have any questions, we can definitely answer those later on today. So, here's a little bit more about Jackie Rosen. Like many women running for office, Jackie Rosen's path has not been linear, but her life experiences as a mom, a synagogue president, a computer programmer have shaped her as a person and a leader. As a granddaughter of immigrants, Jackie grew up in a working class family and was the first in her family to graduate from college. She was a waitress that took out loans to pay for her degree. When she first started her career as a computer programmer, Jackie worked as a banquet waitress to make ends meet. When her parents and in-laws got older and got sick, Jackie stepped back from her career to be a caregiver, one of the toughest experiences of her life. She later became a community leader in Henderson and as the president of the congregation near Hamid, Nevada's largest synagogue. Jackie often asks Nevadans what keeps them up at night, and their concerns focus on educational opportunities, good paying jobs, and most of all, health care. As a senator, Jackie will work to address those concerns by ensuring that all Nevadans have access to affordable, quality health care, and that people with pre-existing conditions are protected. She will fight to increase access to educational and economic opportunities by supporting increased funding for public schools, lower interest rates on student debt, and a $15 federal minimum wage. Nevada deserves a senator who will address the issues that our communities are most worried about. That's why Jackie is committed to protecting dreamers and TPS recipients, passing common sense gun safety legislation, and combating climate change, and getting big money out of politics. Our communities are facing so many critical fights right now, and Jackie's ready to stand up in Washington to put Nevada first. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please feel free to meet me at the table after this. Again, my name is Erica, and I'm here on behalf of Jackie Rosen for U.S. Senate. Thank you.
Thank you. I apologize to have my U.S. and state mixed up. So, we're going to have we will have our U.S. Senate representatives that are here. We have a representative for next for Dean Heller. We'll have the state just go in just a moment. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. My name is Will Stokes. I'm representing the senator tonight. He's also in Washington working for the folks. Dean Heller is the son of an auto mechanic and a school cook. He grew up in Carson City with 5 brothers and sisters, where he worked in his father's auto shop and learned the value of a dollar. Dean has always seen public service as an opportunity to fight for the state of Nevada and the people who call Nevada home. His first question on policy issues is always, how does this affect Nevada? Dean has served the state for almost 30 years now as an assemblyman, or secretary of state, a congressman, and for the last 7 years, a senator. During Dean's time in the Senate, he's been a champion for the nearly 300,000 veterans that call Nevada home. He's led the fight to hold the Veterans Administration accountable for the backlog of disability benefits. And thanks to his leadership, the VA backlog has been reduced by 85%, and over 500,000 veterans claims have been resolved. Dean also played a critical role in authoring the recent tax reform bill, which has given everyone a raise and lets you keep more of your own money. Another thing that Dean is particularly proud of is his sponsorship of the Violence Against Women Act, which is delivering real justice for victims of crime. If anyone has any questions, I'll be there in the table in the back, happy to answer anything you have. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Do we have a representative or the candidate, Camille Bakari, here tonight? Thank you.
I am the candidate. I'm not the representative. I'm the guy. Independent American Party. We came into being because we figured the Democrats and Republicans are too much owned by the government. And we want independence. We want to think for ourselves. The founders never intended for the government to be as big as it is and taking over the way it does and tell us what to do. They never intended that. I've been reading about it a long time. 56 guys signed the Declaration. 40, depending on who you count, 39 signed the Constitution. Those guys never intended for the government to boss us around the way they do. In the beginning, when the states came in, all they were concerned with, would it be slave or free? From the original 13 to the 14, Vermont, 15, Kentucky, and then Tennessee. And all they were concerned with, would it be free or slave? And all this stuff happened during the Civil War. After that, that's when the hanky-panky came in. That's when they started taking over states. 85% of a state. There's no way we got equal rights as a U.S. Senator with a guy from Texas or a pre-Civil War state. He owns all this state. 85% of the government owns our state. They never intended for the federal government to own 85% of a state. That's one of the big things that bothers me about this, that I would argue about. We want them out. We don't want them to own. Every state should come in on equal footing with the original 13. That's where it was intended. And that's what they did until after the Civil War. That's when they pulled all the hanky-panky. We're living with that now. Speaking of the Civil War, what happened with the slaves? Slavery, physical chains came off, but nothing dealt with the psychological. They didn't fix that. They never did fix it. You wonder why when there's an anniversary of the ending of the Civil War, black folks don't celebrate it? Because the black folks is not over. Because of what happened in the psych, they never dealt with that. The psychological aspects of it. Physical chains come off, the psych's messed up. I do support the repository, and I want the federal government out of Nevada, not owning 85%. Developers got to ask permission for them to sell us a little bit of our state. We want them out. They get the little piece. We get the lion's share. That's how it ought to be. I've been paying attention to the way this government is supposed to be run. And we're way off track. Founders be rolling over their grave. I worked in the private sector all my life. I never worked for the government. And if I didn't go to work, I didn't get paid. All these government people get paid without coming to work. I don't get paid if I don't come to work. Who do they get the money from? People that don't get paid when they don't come to work. So me, when I pay for my health care, I'm paying for two people, the government worker and the guy on welfare. And you could maybe say illegal alien, but the government worker and the guy on welfare. The private sector guy, we're paying for me and two other people. I'm paying for three people. They don't get that. They get it free. They get the mooch off me, and we want them to stop mooching. Am I out of time? Let's go.
Thank you. Now we'll have our county commissioners for Division G. I had to draw first. 1 second. We have a representative for Jim Gibson here.
Yep. Do you have a representative? Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Cindy.
Okay.
We're drawing first. So we'll have representative for Jim Gibson, us, and then you'll have Cindy.
Hey guys, my name's Matthew again. I'm here as well to speak on behalf of Commissioner Gibson, who's doing commission work tonight. Commissioner Gibson was appointed by the Republican Governor Brian Sandoval recently. He's a former mayor of Henderson. He's been around this community for a long time. Son of a military veteran, great guy. He's a pro. He's doing a great job in the commission. And we're hoping that you will get your votes to get elected for a full term in November. And that's really all I have. I don't want to waste so much of your time. But if you have any more questions about Commissioner Gibson, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Hello. Sorry about that. Hi. I'm Cindy Lake, and I'm running for Clark County Commission District G, which encompasses Boulder City. And I ran in 2014 as well, and I won Boulder City very big, so thank you. I have a lot of support here, and I'm very honored to have your support. I think my message resonates with you because can you please raise your hand if you're a taxpayer? Okay. And come down. Yeah, please raise your hand if you want to pay more taxes. Oh, you do? Not as many as who pay taxes. So I want to ensure that every penny of our Clark County $7 billion budget is accounted for. And I want you to hold me accountable when I'm elected as well. I want to talk about me and not my opponent, but since there is a representative here, I want to make sure that you know that I care enough about you to show up. And please take that into account. The Clark County School District is not part of the Clark County Commission. Clark County Commission has nothing at all to do with the Clark County School District. I wish I could tell you that I'm going to make education better here, but I can't say that. And I'm not going to use tax dollars to do anything. I think a $7 billion budget is more than enough money to take care of necessary services without raising another tax. We don't have accountability, transparency, or fiscal responsibility. I am a registered Republican, endorsed by the Independent American Party as well, and so fiscally responsible. You can hold me accountable. Cindy Lake for Clark County Commission G, that's my table there. Please see me after the event. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll have our offices for county clerk, Lynn Goya or her representative.
Hi, I'm the Goya part of Lynn Goya. Welcome, Boulder. Good evening, Boulder City. Thank you, the Boulder City Community Alliance, because you guys make a difference, and thank you very much. Lynn is out doing the people's business. She's out in Minden as we speak at a county clerk's meeting to talk about their legislative agenda. And I'm going to go pick her up after this. She'll talk about it out there. But anyway, Lynn and I have been married for 35 years last month. And I'm going to tell you because I'm very proud of my wife. When I met her, she was just graduating with a double major in English and economics at San Diego State. I went, wow, this is a really smart woman. I'm going to marry her and make babies, and we did. And we came here, and we have 3 kids from Boulder City High School. We live up the block, right up. It's easy for me to get home. I live up the corner here, up the block, a couple hundred yards away. And but one of the things that after you've lived with somebody for 35 years, and especially at this point of our lives, our kids are grown and they're close and they kind of hang out. And we have kind of our adopted kids here too, right here. And, but one of the things that excites me about county clerk is that Lynn was like born to do this job. When you find your spouse, finding something that she's really passionate about at this point in our life, like this is something that she has been prepared for, and she has just thrived in. And I see the energy and the drive that she has for this position. When she came aboard, she realized that the wedding industry had been down 40% from its historical highs. What's the story? And there's been no, efforts to expand that. Since she was elected, she went up to the legislature and got additional money for marketing and reaching across the aisle. She wouldn't have done it without the help of Joe Hardy and people, across the. It's a nonpartisan. She's a Democrat, but she has the, connections and the abilities to work across party lines, and that's what a county clerk wants to do. That's what you want the county clerk to do for you. She also controls the records of county clerks. She's in the middle of digitizing the county records from 1909. So you don't have to go down the clerk. You'll be able to go online and find, as a journalist, as a former journalist, she sees this as an amazing thing to do. But, she is, as Bruce Woodbury has said to us, why would anybody vote for anybody else for county clerk? She's going to take care of Boulder City. I love you guys already. It's, Boulder City, we come up, the reason all these candidates, and, let's give an applause for anybody who wants to go into public service. These guys have other things they could be doing, I would imagine. But just to be part of public service, I think all these people need, applaud just for people to get into the ball and commit themselves and help and work for the community. And public service is, something I found that my wife has embraced, and she's just a great public servant. I'm so proud of her. And thank you for support. And if you want yard signs, I got lots of yard signs, got lots of things, I got all kinds of things. Thank you for your support, Boulder City.
Thank you. We'll have the State Senate, Greg Dordahl next.
Hi, my name is Craig Dordahl. I'm running for Senate District 12. A little bit about me. I'll try to keep it short. I always talk too long, so keep it as short as possible. I've got a website. Just about anything you want to know about me is on the website. If I've got an opinion on it, you'll see it pretty much. Other than that, I grew up in Minnesota in a union home. Went in the Air Force, almost 25 years. I joined federal service. After that, I didn't want to do government, but I did federal service. Retired from federal service. So, I thank you for my retirement checks. And so anyhow, basically, the reason I'm running, I've had a really blessed life. I've had a good life, I've had a blessed life. And I'm just not ready to just do nothing but ride my bicycle every morning. So, that's why I'm running. The incumbent hasn't had a race in 8 years. And so I'm not necessarily the best candidate, but I'm the only one that wanted to put their name down. So that's, other than that, I come from an aircraft mechanic background. I was a flight engineer, I was a contracting officer, commercial pilot, instructor pilot, not the Air Force though, a civilian instructor. Other than that, got a degree in contracts management. I've got a degree in liberal study with a depth in management and psychology. Retired so I could run for assembly 2 years ago. And basically, my concern is that, I think we need to have hope and opportunity in Nevada. Our wages need to be livable wages. I think we need sensible gun legislation. I think we need to attract good teachers with fair wages. We need reasonable class sizes. And we need to give them the resources that they need. We need to provide our post-high school educational opportunities in college and technical. And, we need to give them real futures. And we need to make sure that our graduates don't have a lot of debt. I think we can do that by bringing an education model to Nevada. We need to make sure that nobody with a full-time job is homeless or living in poverty. The lack of hope and opportunity, that leads to crime. That's why people are crime. We need to spend more money providing opportunities and less money incarcerating people. So we need to make sure that Nevada is a place of hope and opportunity. And other than that, I only brought one extra yard sign, but if you let me know you want one, I'll deliver them. I'll put them in your yard. Again, go to my website. I don't need to be shy about giving you my opinion because, it's not really a close race, but it could be. So anyhow, thank you.
Thank you. Running for Lieutenant Governor, do we have Ed Blank here? Is it maybe yes? Okay. For Secretary of State, we have Nelson
come out and to share a little bit about our story and our vision. As I said, I'm running for Secretary of State, but most importantly, I'm a proud Nevada native. I was born and raised in Las Vegas. I'm a proud two-time UNLV alum, and I'm currently serving my wrapped up my second term, serving as the Assistant Majority Leader in the last legislative session. And now I'm running for Secretary of State. And look, for us, it has been a very, very simple campaign. We're running on two big things. One, we want to modernize the way that Nevada does business. We want to take us not just to 2020, but we want to take Nevada to 2030, 2040, and beyond, because that is what we believe in. We believe in the Nevada way. We believe in taking folks into new technology, introducing folks to new concepts, and continuing to invest in this rich culture of discussion that focuses around how we diversify our economy. And then secondly, we're also running on the premise that every eligible Nevada voter, regardless of party affiliation, should have the ability to register to vote, cast their ballot, and then have their vote counted. It's that simple. So you're going to find in me a Secretary of State that is going to fight for every single Nevadan. We are going to work tirelessly to ensure that we take the Secretary of State's office to a new frontier. We are going to ensure that we continue to embark on what Governor Sandoval has already laid out for us here in Nevada and continue on the trajectory to lead just the same way that I was taught to lead. I am the son and will always be the proud son of a union housekeeper who for 32 years now has been cleaning hotel rooms at the same hotel she started at. She taught me that with strong work, with a lot of ethic, and a lot of determination, we can accomplish anything, and that's what I call the Nevada way. So I hope to earn your support, and I hope to get to meet every single one of you, and I really, really thank you for allowing us to have this opportunity in this forum. Thank you.
And then we'll have those running for Regent for our University District 12. With Andrew Coates going first, please.
Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, my name is Andrew Coates, and I'm running to be your regent. Now, first of all, I want to say thank you to the Boulder City Community Alliance for hosting this, and thank you for the issues you speak to. You've been a strong voice against reckless development, and we really need that, not just in Boulder City, but throughout our state. We're growing too fast, so thank you so much for what you do. Moving on to what I'm running for. I'm running for the Board of Regents. Now, I want to ask, how many of you know what the Board of Regents does? Show of hands, please. Okay, that's pretty good. Great crowd, great crowd. Okay. But for anyone who does not, the Board of Regents governs the higher education system for the entire state of Nevada. That's UNLV, UNR, CSS, Truckee Meadows, Great Basin College. Everybody loves Great Basin College. So, it is not just about education, fixing it. First of all, not the Clark County School District, so it's college on up. But also the Desert Research Institute, which a lot of people don't know, which is not a traditional campus. So basically, it's not just about education policy, but it's a big bureaucracy that has a lot of different factions and some pretty serious issues facing us in the future. And we need a regent who is familiar with that, knows interested parties. And as far as higher education issues go, this isn't my first rodeo. A little bit about me. My name's Andrew Coates. You probably knew that by the signs in the program. I'm a native Nevadan, lifelong Nevadan. I am a proud alum of the William S. Boyd School of Law at UNLV, and I received my Master's in Business Administration from UNLV as well. Prior to that, I actually got my degree in environmental science, so I have a kind of unique background in science, law, and business. So I have a lot of different boards I'm on. I'm part of the board of directors for the Alumni Association for the law school. I'm on a subcommittee for the UNLV Alumni Association. I'm on the Henderson Beautification Commission. A lot of things. I can tell you more about that over at the booth. But why am I running? I'm very concerned about what is facing, particularly Southern Nevada, especially with the brouhaha over the UNLV president. And I think we need another voice for reform on the Board of Regents, and that's what I am. alumni leaders and some administrators who are still in the system and are no longer in the system as well got together, and we decided that I would run to try to reform the board. We need to change how things work, whether that be changing how regents are elected. I believe we need a compromise system of electing and appointing regents. Just last week I was meeting with legislators to discuss how to actually make positive change happen in the next legislative session, and I'm looking forward to getting to work for you. Now, please come over, and as an added incentive, I don't think it's too early to start celebrating Halloween, so we have a little pumpkin over there. So come on over, get a treat, get a flyer, and this might be the most important thing I say. Why wait until after an election to start serving the community? My name's Andrew Coates, and I thought it would be funny if I did a coat drive for foster kids in Southern Nevada. So if you want to learn more about that, to donate your old clothes and coats as you change your wardrobe, preparing for the winter, please let me know. We have a couple of drop-off locations in Southern Nevada, and I'm happy to work with you to pick up any clothes you may have to help foster kids. So that's it. Thank you so much.
Good evening. My name is Amy Carvalho. I'm also running for University Region for District 12. I am a longtime Boulder City person. I own a business here in Boulder City for the last 15 years. I moved to Southern Nevada when I was 10 years old. My father was in the Air Force, retired after 22 years. Thank you for your service, Dad. And I am a graduate of Rancho High School, College of Southern Nevada, UNLV. I got my bachelor's degree at UNLV and in anthropology. So people ask me, what do you do with a degree in anthropology? Well, I own 3 convenience stores in Southern Nevada. One is here in Boulder City, one in Henderson, and one in Las Vegas. I've done that for the past 15 years, so I understand business, I understand fiscal responsibility. I was also on the Boulder City Library Board. I was the chairperson of that for several years. Also, I was involved with the Department of Education's Academic Standard Council. I was the chairperson of that for several years also, so I understand the intricacies of education in Nevada. I'm running because I'm passionate about education. The current regent, Andrea Anderson, asked me to run after I gave a talk at our local Rotary Club about my passion for education and my history with education. I have her support and endorsement, and I hope to get yours on November 6th. My platform is really to bridge that gap between high school and college with an emphasis on community college involvement. I also think it's important that we fund the medical school that we're all hearing about at UNLV. I personally had an experience recently where it was hard to find a doctor, and we need to make sure that we educate doctors in Southern Nevada and keep them here. That's important for Boulder City. It's important for all of Southern Nevada. So I would appreciate your vote and your support. My website is www.amy4regent.com. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you. Thank you.
We will now have those running for state controller. Catherine Byrne going first, please. Okay, we're still waiting for a few people to arrive, so we'll go to Justice of the Peace. We have Victor Miller and Rob Martin. With Victor Miller going first, please.
Thank you. I'm Judge Victor Miller. I sit in this room and remember a lot of important events in my life that happened here. In this room in elementary school, I learned how to tap dance and do ballet. And when I was 14 years old, I came here and took my driving test to get my license to drive a motorcycle. And then when I was 16, I came back here and took my test to get my driver's license. So this is where important events in my life happen. I moved here when I was 8 months old, so I don't remember living anyplace else. I went to school at the Boulder City Elementary School. Our teacher, or our principal, was Andrew J. Mitchell, and then he later moved the school down to Andrew J. Mitchell Elementary. I went to Boulder City Junior Senior High School and graduated from there. I went away to college, got a degree in political science, and then went to law school and at the University of Pacific George School of Law, because there was no law school in Nevada at the time, and they came to recruit it at my college saying they were Nevada's law school. In Sacramento, California. I did get the scholarship from the Gunderson, Justice Gunderson of the Supreme Court. I got a scholarship from him, so I guess it was a Nevada law school. But following law school, I chose to come back to this community that I loved and had grown up in, and started my law practice in Las Vegas. But before I started practicing, I went to clerk for a district judge in Las Vegas, and that's where I became my passion for judging, for being the judicial passion that I had. Before I clerked for the judge, I worked in a district attorney's office in California and prosecuted a serial killer, Joe Gallegos, who ended up with the death penalty in both Nevada and California. Soon after I came to Boulder City, moving back, there became a vacancy to be a substitute judge here in Boulder City. So I started my learning about being a judge. What's important in being a judge is not where you went to law school or what kind of law practice you did, but what kind of judge you'll be. So I started training at that time at the National Judicial College. Then became judge and continued my training. I've been awarded by the Nevada Supreme Court with the Distinguished Education, Judicial Education Award for having over 640 hours of judicial education. I started then, I became the actual judge and worked to build a courthouse. Before, the courtroom was in the basement of City Hall in my old third grade classroom. But we needed a courtroom. We couldn't be dragging people through the halls in chains that were criminals. So we built I was instrumental in getting funding to build the courthouse, and then worked to grow the courthouse and grow the court system here in Boulder City. I've continued to learn about being a judge. And that's been recognized not only in Boulder City, but through even the Boulder, Las Vegas District Court, the Judicial District Court, has appointed me to be a judge pro tem in their short trial system. The past 10 years, I've presided over 64 short jury trial cases. So I have the training, I have the experience, I know how to be a judge. I'm a fair judge. I let everybody have their time. People never are rushed out of my courtroom. They have the opportunity to make their case heard before I apply the law to the facts and make the appropriate decision. Please stop by and see us. There's a lot more I'd like to tell you about the history of Boulder City and the courts here in Boulder City. So please stop by and give us any questions you have. Look forward for your vote coming up in the early elections and then November 6th. Thank you.
Community Alliance, thank you very much for having this. And I want to talk about why there needs to be a change for a judge here in Boulder City. Time for change is generally under the rules starting at 22 years. That's what Chapter 3 of the NRS talks about. But what really means the most is how is the court run? How are things handled? I have been going to the court here for over 6 months, looking at how things are done and how things can be done better. Simple things like how people are arraigned, public records being more visible, internet, website. There's all kinds of things that we can do so much better than we have been in the past. And I've been working really hard to try to figure that out. And I go way back in Nevada. Matter of fact, I didn't realize Judge Miller also got a motorcycle license at 14, and so did I. That was the last time you could get it, frankly. What happened is a friend of mine, unfortunately, was killed when he was 15, and his dad was the police chief of Reno and got the law changed back here. I've been in Nevada my whole life. I graduated from Valley High. I've been married to my wife for 30 years. We have 3 kids. I love Boulder City. I've been coming here forever. One of my best friends for many, many, many years is Sarah Denton. And I've talked to her numerous times about how we can do things better here in Boulder City. And that's why I asked her to vote. Because what we can do is make a lot of changes. And I, too, have credentials that are important and easy to understand. I was always a hard worker. I've had a job since I was 10 years old. I've pretty much worked full-time ever since. When I finally went to law school, I actually graduated in 2.5 years. It usually takes 3 or 4 years. And I'd actually passed the bar before I graduated from law school. I won the client counseling and the moot court competitions for my law school. I graduated in the top third of the class. And I've been an A-rated lawyer in Nevada for many, many years. And ratings do matter somewhat because it's what other judges and lawyers tell you about your quality as a lawyer and your ability to understand and apply the facts and the law. And that's what a judge has to do, is apply the facts and the law and understand where the law can and should be applied. For instance, there was a case recently here in Boulder City where there was a gag order issued inappropriately because misdemeanor cases, especially a traffic case, that should never be. And that kind of thing will end up costing money to the citizens of Boulder City. There have been a couple like this over the years, and some of those have cost the city hundreds of thousands of dollars. I want to make sure that we do a much better job on how justice is administered. For those of you that haven't read it, there's a Review Journal article that talks about justice in Boulder City for May 30th this year and how things can and should be done better. I urge each of you to read that because I think it summarizes how justice can be done better in Boulder City. And that's what I really want to do. To briefly talk about some other stuff, I really care about the elderly and the disabled. I have 2 brothers that are mentally handicapped. I have a sister who's blind. I've worked with the disabled and the elderly my whole life. And I've got ways that we can do things better. I've talked to the senior center as your judge. I can make a lot of that happen. Also, with regard to the drug court, kids, that's so important. My older girl graduated from med school, so she did really well. My middle one's doing geology right now in California. And then my son got into trouble with drugs about when he was 10 years old. And I tried to help him. And I think what we can do is do a better job of helping people that want to get back on the right track. And that's why I've been going to the drug court every time. And I can see ways it could be done better. I can see where credits could be done better. I asked for your vote. I'm right over there. I'm happy to answer any questions. I've got a website, Rob Martin for Justice Boulder City. And please talk to me. Thank you.
Thank you. We were waiting for a few to come up, and I don't see them here yet, so we're just going to go on with who's here. So for U.S. Congress, we'll have next standing Tarkini.
Thank you, and I'm so excited to be here tonight. Yes, you get the candidate himself here to speak, but even better yet, my wife is with me, and most people prefer to talk to her. I've lived in, my family and I have lived here in Southern Nevada for over 40 years. We've been through some great times. We've had some difficult times through the recession like so many others. But this community has been great to us. My father was a basketball coach here at UNLV, and I believe he became the greatest coach in college basketball history here. My mother achieved her dream of working with handicapped children, Poster for Life, and then getting on the school board and into public service now in the Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce. Both of my parents instilled upon all of us children the importance of public service and giving back to the community. My wife and I have been involved in many charities. The TARP toy drive my wife started was after my son had a stroke when he was 4.5 years old, and we saw kids in the hospital without anybody visiting them, without any toys or gifts. So my wife started a drive where we raised toys throughout the year and give them to other children in the hospital. I started the Tarkanian Basketball Academy, which is a nonprofit group that works to teach young kids the life lessons you learn through playing sports. I've been involved in a charity called Team Focus, which mentors boys that do not have a father and teach them the appropriate way to move forward in life and to succeed. And we've been involved, my wife and I both, in the Hope for Prisoners program out here, which works to get people that are released from prison acclimated into society, and there's a great rate of success in that program. The next step for me was to get into public service, because my mother has been my inspiration and what I believe public service should be all about. She instilled in me right off the bat when she became a city councilwoman the one thing that every public servant should realize: if you are going to represent the public, you need to do what's in the best interest of the public. Not what's in your best interest politically, not what's in your best interest personally, but what's in the best interest of the people you represent, even if it harms you. And my mother, time and again, when she had a tough votes she had to make, she voted against people close to our family, best friends of our family, even at times people affiliated with our families, because it wasn't in the best interest of the people. Unfortunately now, in today's environment, we see politicians that get enjoy too much the power, the prestige, the influence of being in office, and let people down. I'm running for Congress in Nevada's Congressional District 3. My inspiration was Senator Paul Laxalt and Senator Richard Bryan, a Republican and a Democrat, because they were public servants like my mother. If I'm fortunate enough to be your representative in Washington, D.C., I have one goal only when I'm elected, and that is for you people to feel as strongly about me as I feel about Senator Laxalt, Senator Bryan, and my mother. Be proud of what I do, and believe that I've done everything I can to make this a better community. A couple policy positions real quick. I believe very strongly our school system is failing, and the answer is more money into the classrooms for the teachers and their assistants. My sister, who works with handicapped children in the school district, says they keep cutting their budget to the teachers and more money to other special projects. It's not right, and the system is failing. I believe strongly we should have school choice, so that if a parent is paying taxes for their kids to be educated, they should be able to determine what school or what programs their kids should go into. I believe very strongly that we need to secure our borders, and whether that's a wall or some other type of means, we need to protect our borders and make sure we know who's coming into our country and what products are coming into our country. I believe very strongly we should not be a sanctuary city. If there is somebody who has broken the law, and I'm not talking about immigration law, I'm talking about somebody who broke the law and they're in jail, and you determine that person was here illegally, I should be notified that they should be deported. I believe that red flag means we need to, is my time's up?
20 seconds.
Oh, 20 seconds. I wasted it discussing that. Finally, I think the most important thing all of us care about is to be able to take care of our families, be able to have a good job, pay for a home and put food on the table, and provide for our kids. And I believe very strongly in what President Trump is doing with America First policies, and that means taking care of Americans first, American businesses first. Hey, if we can help the rest of the world, great. But first and foremost, we're Americans. We're all Americans, whether you're a man, a woman, a minority, white, senior, or a millennium. We're all Americans, and we need to do what's best for the United States of America. And that's what you're going to get from me if I'm fortunate enough to be your congressperson in the CD3. Thank you very much.
Do we have Cindy Lee or her representative here? She was going to try to make it tonight. No? Okay. Then we'll move on to State Controller. Ms. Catherine Byrne.
Yes.
Welcome, and you're up.
Thank you. Is this it, my 4 minutes? Woo! So where's the rest of the room? Again, my name is Catherine Byrne, and I am ready to be your next state controller. I am a CPA, a Blue Star mom, and I'm also a state employee and a union member. I am running because I believe that we need a professional licensed accountant in the controller's office. And I'm also running because I believe that we need to have strong leadership that has experience and integrity in our state government as well as our federal government. My only child is a staff sergeant in the Air Force, and he's stationed in Washington, D.C., and I'm very concerned about the leadership in this country. So I'm just somebody that's stepping up to the plate to, kind of do my part for America and be a good American. Let's see, the controller's office is, I like it that it's an elected official. That's fine, there we go. A lot of people they think, oh, they don't understand, there's only 17 elected controllers in the country from the states, and I like it that it's an elected official because what we do is we are separate from the governor and the legislature that set policy. And we're responsible for financial reporting, so when we put the data together, we're not influenced by anybody else's policy. So that's why that independence is good for you, the taxpayers, and it also increases